Brad, what do you take out of today? They're positives to be in a game like that, or is it heartbreak for you and your team?
I don't think it's one over the other. I think that they're all the emotions that come from the bit of disappointment of a close loss. I feel really disappointed for our players and for our fans. I think a win's always a great antidote to a few losses. So yeah, no doubt we're disappointed. But it was all within our control. I mean, we gave ourselves opportunity, and I'm sure you'll ask me about Goldie at some point, but the game's about creating opportunity, and to Fremantle's credit, they created it early. We didn't do enough to defend it, and we created it late, and we didn't take our chances. But I can live with the execution, because that's what you just keep working on, but we've got to make sure that we don't have such a lacklustre, or start to the game in this case, but we don't have lacklustre periods in game.
Do you talk to Goldie after the game?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it needs to be addressed, and to his credit, he's up front and really disappointed. But I said to him what I just repeated to you, that the game is about creating opportunity, and he created it, and he had his shot. And my main challenge with Goldie is just to make sure that next game, given the same circumstances, he wants the ball, because that's what it's about. The guys who have significant disappointments like that, when the game's there to be won and they don't take the chance, well, it's the response that's important. So I want 22 players who, in that situation, they all want the ball.
Do you feel like the finish notwithstanding, that you were probably the better team for most of the second half?
Yeah, on a lot of levels. But the scoreboard said we were scrambling. So the disappointing part is that Fremantle were much better than us early. We were really disappointing, and we had to. I mean, it's not as if we went out or went out without a plan. I mean, we had a plan, and we had to turn it on its head pretty quickly. So that meant that we were scrambling a little bit to make changes and get the game back on our terms. But I thought largely the players got it back the way we wanted it. We just didn't execute. So I thought for probably early part, Fremantle dominated, but the last three quarters, I thought we, other than some pretty ordinary lapses, we controlled large parts of the game, which is frustrating. I mean, it's only a minor difference, but it's the second week in a row where we've had more scoring shots than the opposition and lost. So again, the game's about opportunity, but we need to create more and stifle the opposition more when they've got it.
The close losses, I think it's 5 by 15 points this year, and some will say the themes or whatever it might be. What do you say about that?
I'd say it's incredibly shallow if you're just going to pull out stats. I mean, you guys were here. I mean, do you think that we had a problem late in the game in terms of trying to win the game? I mean, we were coming at them. I've coached groups before where when you get 4 goals down early in the game, pretty quickly can turn into 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're certainly able to arrest that and keep coming. So I think the parts that we need to improve on are coachable, but the things that are a little intangible, like the character of the group and the quality of players that you bring in, they're there, and I think that's going to hold us in really good stead going forward. So these are, while they're really harsh lessons, and the fans and everyone will be shattered and disappointed, we continue to look at the platform that we want to build, not only for next week but for the future. And that's absolutely our priority, and the fundamentals are there. Some of the polish and execution just isn't at the moment.
What was the most important thing you think that you changed to get back into the game?
Oh, there are a lot of things. I mean, Fife was really dominant early, so we had to change that. We had to change. Corey Wagner hasn't played a game in defence as an adult. He played there a little bit as a kid, but I thought he went down, played on Hayden Ballantyne, and played well, albeit looked a little bit confused at times. But that's not to be unexpected. I think there were. I'm not going to go into detail on all those things, but there are some. Those things only work if the players execute it, and Sam Gibson was terrific in the second half, and Wagner held up his end down back. So the midfield got on top, but there are a whole range of factors that contributed to it. But what we're more concerned about is just the simple things that we're not getting right at the moment.
Matt Jack looked like he was maybe struggling a little bit up forward, but then was pretty solid when he went into the ruck. Is that something he just has to keep working on and can't always be in the ruck, so he has to work on that forward part? Yeah,
there's no doubt. We like him in the ruck. We like getting him in there, and we would have seen him start some quarters in the ruck and give us some real impetus. But we just have to keep working on his forward craft, because he's got some fantastic attributes, but we just have to keep working with him so that he gets himself into better positions more often, so that he can let those attributes come to the fore.
How do you view Daniel Nielsen?
Yeah, look, I thought he competed really well, but that didn't surprise us. His number one attribute is that he's a competitor. So he got beaten in some one-on-one contests, but that's Stan's bread and butter. He's generally pretty good at that. But I didn't think he looked overawed at all. I thought he came off his opponent and marked the ball a few times and showed that he's got a future for us.
Just with Bruce, everyone wants you to play him just because he's brand new and sexy and all that stuff. If he doesn't play, are you really confident he'll stay at the club next year? I know he's contracted next year.
Yeah, that's the answer. So I'm very, very confident because he's contracted. But in terms of that, I've said every week, Ralphie, that we want to get Prusy into the side. But, you see the talls. We like Majak in the ruck. Goldie's obviously a quality player and was pretty important for us in the second half, and Brown is ruck size as well. So, I don't think there's anyone in footy who'd say that structure works perfectly, bringing in another one or two. And even today, Waite and Wood didn't play. So it's a good position for us to be in, where we've got a potential surplus. And Nick Larkey had a minor injury and didn't play this week, but he's another key forward that we really like to see at AFL level sooner rather than later, all things being equal. So there is a bit of a surplus, and we'll just keep trying to find the best mix.
Thanks.
Cheers. Go ahead. Okay.
As far as your selections, I think it's 7 players that you've blooded this year from here to the end of the season. What's the right balance, do you think, for your selections?
I think it's still about picking guys on form. And Nielsen came in this week not so that we could blood another debutant. He came in on the back of some really strong VFL form. And so we certainly don't want to set guys up to fail. That being said, we want to create opportunities if and when possible.
Thanks.